most of the night. Eyes are crashing like a wave. Feet are heavy, now I am a walking cliche. I think I'll stay inside. I think I'll stay inside.
Welcome to episode 54.
What's up, guys?
We're just here dicking around looking at some articles on Reddit. The DEA is looking for a contractor. If anyone out there needs a job, they need someone who can burn 1,000 pounds of marijuana per hour.
Sign me up.
The only, sort of letdown with this whole thing is though you need to have a CCTV system set up so they can monitor that you're dispensing of it properly, as they say.
Yeah, because you'll get shysters out there who'll go out there and we're disposing of it while throwing tons of it in the backs of trucks and just driving away with it. Yeah, we're burning it, just throwing tons of paper in there.
Well, here's the thing: is they say they must have their own closed circuit cameras. I would totally put a huge blind spot where I could go around a counter.
Just
knock a few buds into a bag.
And
the crazy thing is you're supposed to be able to burn consistently 1,000 pounds of weed per hour, and for a minimum of 8 hours per day, consecutive. So you're just nonstop, just incinerating weed. How much weed do they have?
I feel like that's bad on so many levels because
the environment.
The environment. Like, why? Look, at the end of the day, they could sell. Look, they can honestly sell that to a state.
Couldn't they mulch it all and turn it into, just compost?
I'm sure they could. I'm sure that they could do something, similar to that.
The government likes to burn shit.
Yeah, why?
Like in the army and, military in general, those have huge burn piles. When they're done with a site, they just burn everything.
It's like there's a whole bunch of Charlies from It's Always Sunny. It's just floating around. Like, he wants to burn trash. It's like, let's just burn everything. But, that's unfortunate.
That's so strange. It's just... limited time, March to September 30th, and you have to go to different locations and just burn weed. Huh. So, how do you feel about this? We already talked about it, but this, in Georgia, black reporters were only allowed inside this mayoral race event.
It's going backwards. Yeah, like you can't do that because
you can swap that with. You could swap that with any race out there, and it would seem very wrong, no matter who it is. If it was like Canadians only or like French only.
Because that's exactly what we don't need is just more division. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, I feel like
it's different if it's a private club, property, whatever, for whatever reason, but this is, the city. It's the mayor race.
Yeah, especially like governmental shit. It's like...
Yeah, like, I'm running for office, but only a small subset of you, or a large subset probably in this area, are allowed to come in and view what I have to say.
I feel like, that's a good way to lose votes. Well, I mean, I guess depending on... No, I mean, just period. Because I feel like most sane people would see that and be like, that's silly. Like, no matter what their race, they'd be able to see that and be like, oh, that's stupid. Why are you trying to divide people? And I don't think that he would or she, I don't know who the fuck is running. I hope they lose.
They asked a few different candidates, their opinion, like on the way in and out, and just, high up government people. We were scrolling through the article, and it looks like most were just like, don't want to say anything about it, or I had nothing to do with this. But the one candidate who claimed to be inclusive and trying to bring, everyone in the city together, he basically just said, I don't have anything to say about this, but it's, not good.
Yeah,
he didn't have a very strong stance on it.
Yeah, no, that's definitely not good.
So, no, it wasn't like, who's behind this? We need to all come together. It was more just like, that sucks. Who did that?
Who knows?
Maybe there's some big scheme behind it.
What if? Because didn't it say in the article, it was kind of vague about like who actually set it up. It was some like consulting firm owned by some like reverend.
Yeah. Who refused to comment on the topic or event at all.
Watch there have been like no event at all, and that was just something to get people riled up.
Yeah, just like an empty room. Everyone came in, had a few cookies and a cup of coffee.
Could you
They're, like,
imagine?
laughing. They're out there thinking there's a big speech going on
Oh my
because they
god.
allowed written notes. I think it said, and photos, video, and audio were prohibited during the event. So you can only write notes. So yeah, what if it's just a bunch of fake notes they wrote in?
Oh
there?
my god, dude.
Why else would
Honestly-
they ban even audio or photos? Okay, I get video being banned, but photos?
No, yeah. Okay,
So what about for the newspaper? Like local mayoral candidates, like give their speeches and there's a picture. It's weird to just
something I feel like
bar
funky is going on like behind that.
Yeah.
So okay, so the mayor or trying to be mayor, the person running for it, was speaking at this closed door event, right? Let me get that right.
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, that just smells like funk all around it. Because any candidate, I feel like running for any form of public office, that's a huge red flag if you are just barring people from like talking about your policies or what you're trying to do. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and also it's strange, like certain people that were headed into the meeting. Shirley James was this African American, obviously they were let in, publisher of the black-owned Savannah Tribune. So it's like all these like relatively well-known local people, in the black community being let in, and just presumably no real meeting because there's no video or anything like that. At least nothing elaborate was set up.
Watch this be some sort of what do they call it? Like the social experiment. It's like we just want to see like what
False flag.
Man, like that would be so fucking stupid. I look.
It makes me upset to think that there are people out there who have the money to fund complete bullshit and
Yeah.
propaganda like that that could fuck with people's heads.
It's like, why?
You could just make up a whole event, make up some whole racist situation where everyone's a paid actor, like some freak out, say in the middle of downtown New York, and you're paying everyone involved in the whole street.
Could you
I
imagine?
mean, how do you know
Look,
that?
you could take that.
Well, Jussie Smollett didn't get away with it. He kind of did. Can we talk about that too?
Yeah. So
There's an update in the story, so I feel like it's a good time to bring him back up.
yeah.
So basically, well, first of all, he has a totally different perspective on this from what I can gather from his expressions and, sort of the way he looks now that this new, verdict has been given in his case.
And again, he's a fucking actor, so you got to take that's all a grain of
Yeah,
salt.
so basically he got off on, probation and having to, I don't know, mail letters and shit, some sort of mundane work, his community service and all this stuff. But he seems to think that people think he didn't make this whole thing up. Like, he thinks just for the fact that he's not going to jail that we suddenly think, it really happened to him. He's like, I just want everyone to know I never made up 1 minute of this after they gave him the verdict that he only was getting, community service. Everyone's like, whoa, man. Wait. We all know you made that up.
See,
I
look at that on two fronts.
It's like we gave him a slap on the wrist, but it doesn't mean he didn't make that up, right?
No, look.
It's pretty clear it was all bullshit.
I feel like the best thing that people could honestly do is just ignore that fucking idiot.
Yeah, it's
You know
like
what
he's
I mean?
obviously crazy, right? Let's just move on, but it's just hilarious to me that he thinks that, we think that he didn't make that up now.
See,
Just like the way it was like a murderer, who knows he didn't, kill someone who's accused of murder, I'll say. And they're, they go to jail, or at least they're in trial, and it's proven they didn't kill this person. They're like, finally, you guys believe me. I feel like he has that feeling, but it's not, because we know he made something up.
oh that no, that
He didn't
yeah.
get off of a crime. He got a slap on the wrist for a crime, but we still know he did it. The whole thing's just funny. Especially, we talked about the last time on the podcast, but he picked the two worst actors. These big, guys from Africa, and he's saying, they were, hurling racial slurs, and, he went home 40 minutes later with a noose still around his neck and all that. Who's gonna try to throw a noose on someone in the middle of Chicago? The whole thing was just ridiculous. Especially two black dudes, out of all the people to pay to try to do that. Get some biker looking guys. That's what we said last time. Get some skinhead looking guys who are actors. And they're like, sure man, I'll do that for $1,000.
Yeah,
Bad casting for an actor, I'll say.
He's
in the business.
don't
right?
really think that. See, you bring up a good point with this, because you could look at this two ways. You could, we could go deep onto how much of an idiot that dude is, and
Do you want to know my opinion on the whole thing?
But we could also look at it as because all media outlets are really focusing on that. You know what I mean? Like it's some big fucking deal.
I really don't. That's my point too. Let me just get out, because I think we're on the same page. My whole point of view on it is that the media and the news is turning it into some big, like, this guy was trying to spark some racial thing or et cetera, or prove a point. I think all it was, disagree with me or not, that he was just trying to advance his career by making a buzz and then trying to get a large contract renegotiation, because he was known as this guy who got assaulted and he blew up on the news. So I think it was all a personal gain thing. I don't think he gave a shit. That's why he picked the two black dudes to try to pretend to beat him up.
Of course he didn't give a shit.
Yeah, that's why he didn't think to pick someone who actually made it look like a racial thing. I feel like he wasn't really thinking it through.
Because he knows that the media eats that shit up.
Yeah, and he didn't think he was going to be caught. Let's be real.
Whatever. Because, look, he wouldn't be doing that unless if he knew it would get him attention.
Yeah.
So, if the media did not focus on, let's say, bullshit like that, but real shit that's happening around the world, famine, corruption, etc., like that, like that's honestly, do you really? I mean, question to you.
Sure.
Do you think that it would serve, let's say, because every nation has their own laws, whatever. But let's just say the U.S. Do you think that we would be better if we focused less on the Jussie Smolletts of the world and just more corruption that we see around, or just more universal topics? What do you think?
Yeah, I think there's multiple pieces to that. Like, these people, like, yeah, it should pop on the news because there was this big thing, this event that happened in Chicago.
Yeah, it's something that happened.
But then, move past, brush it along. The guy's crazy. Move on. There's nothing to keep. This guy doesn't deserve more than, here he's already famous. He doesn't need extra fame continuing to talk about this crazy guy who faked something to for personal gain. But yeah, I think not only do we need to talk more about real issues in the world, in the news, and just the media in general, newspapers, print, but also I think we need to focus more on good things. Everything always seems to be lately, which I don't think is bad, is improvements, like optimizing yourself. But it seems like a lot of people like overly focus on, how to like personal improvement things and less focusing on positive things going on in the community. Like, you don't see many stories about someone dedicating their time to something, or someone who volunteered a bunch of resources to help build a school. They don't really talk about those stories as much. Like,
let's say, question, are you speaking on the more, like, national or local level?
I don't know, I guess both, because there's, importance levels. There's probably some pretty positive things going on that could be national news, that there, some top level person, like, US based doctor is volunteering his time in some country, and they don't even ever talk about it. And they'll talk about, some politician with the same article for 16 hours straight on a spinner.
How about instead of, let's say, talking about how Jussie Smollett could have possibly, more than likely, faked all this shit for whatever personal gain, instead of that story, how about we do a story about, oh shit, this brain surgeon at Children's Hospital just performed a 17-hour surgery. Fuck, let's interview him. Right,
because you can find those articles, but they're usually covered in a bunch of ads on some site.
Why?
But they're usually true, stories, and that you see it under the health section if you scroll through some of the news. But they don't talk about it on cable news.
It's just stories like that, I feel like, would play a much better role, and just giving people a more positive outlook on life. You know what I mean? Because people eat that shit up because they know it's like, okay, now I can attack this person and feel better about myself. You know what I mean?
Right.
So that, weirdly enough, that may be a reason too. We don't see as much positive shit because people be like, oh fuck, I'm getting down on myself now, which is weird because you would think that
it's just it's a lot of this, the society, the world we live in. Everything is pushing you, get this, get that, dedicate your time, improve yourself, which I'm all for improving yourself. But a lot of times what's left out is how to just enjoy your time without stuff. just enjoy.
That doesn't make money.
Yeah.
How do you advertise that and make money?
Yeah, they don't show that. No. Like, on TV, do you ever see a family just sit around and just talking? It's like they're either sitting around eating some, Pillsbury rolls, or they're flicking through the Netflix menu and laughing, eating popcorn. Like, there's always a product involved.
That's all you see now. Like, I feel like that's just, because, that's kind of like the common thing, because it's much easier for people to stay in and watch a movie versus go out to the movie theater and do the whole, like, dinner and a movie thing, which I still find fun.
Right.
But,
well, I guess it'd be kind of pointless now I'm thinking about it to just show people doing absolutely nothing but talking to each other. But I guess that's some good conversations in movies. There's nothing else happening. There's no products going on.
I'm surprised that we haven't seen, or maybe we have. It hasn't just registered. It only registered subconsciously, we're just buying shit without even realizing it. But more product placement in movies and just in shows in general.
Definitely.
Just so.
Look at video games. There used to be like maybe like a main screen banner ad or something when you were on the startup of a multiplayer game. But nowadays, it's, there's banners in the game, billboards, that have real companies advertising Pepsi and shit.
So I don't mind for example, if you're playing like NHL 19 or and you see some sort of ad throughout the game, like, okay, it's a regular fucking like hockey. You see ads, or NBA 2K. You know what I mean?
They're definitely in there though. They'll be like, the halftime report brought to you by Honda or some shit. But wait, what?
I would hope. I hoped that if you saw more like seamless ads like that in games or movies, TV, whatever, we would see less like 5 to 2 minute videos, like intro advertisements on YouTube, shit like that. Yeah. It's like you would think that, okay, well, they're advertising here, like they can cut back down here, but no, it's just more and more. Like we've seen fucking like,
you know me, I'm very anti-ads. I'm AdBlock Pro or uBlock these days, whatever it is. I pay for YouTube so I don't have to watch ads.
We've seen like hour-plus long ads on YouTube before. Like that's fucking insane. Like we'll just be sitting there and hoping our next video queues up, and then.
Yeah, please write in, anyone, if you've experienced this, because no one in our friend group had heard of this. They thought it was hilarious. We had to record it on Snapchat. We were talking, and we kept hearing talking in the background, and I thought it was a show on YouTube or Netflix auto-playing, and it was an entire podcast someone had paid for to be in an ad. And it was an hour 40, I think, and it was just this guy talking at his desk. It was mind-blowing to me. I was like, this whole thing would have played unless you hit skip ad.
We kind of got sucked in, which was the crazy thing.
Yeah, we listened to it for about 2 or 3 minutes, I think.
So, yeah, I would have hoped that...
That's why he paid for it, probably. Some people might hear something that catches their attention. They listen to the whole thing.
But I would have hoped that just the advertising realm would kind of back off and just kind of just switch up. Because... It's a known thing that people don't like ads. They don't like having their content stopped, and because in this day and age with endless amounts of content, people just want to just binge on shit. So that's why Netflix is still a big deal that they don't have ads like that.
I hate the way they always say brought to you by this. Like they weren't going to show that without the company paying for an ad spot. Like you're still going to show the instant replay.
Well, think of it this way.
They're just selling ad spots. But you know what I mean? Like an alien came down and he's like, human, show me your sports. And like you're playing like NHL 19 on the PlayStation.
Like, who is Honda?
And it's just like halftime report brought to you by Gatorade. And he's just like, oh, Gatorade paid for this? You're like, well, it's kind of already paid for. You're like, it's just kind of, they say it, so it's kind of a forever ad. The alien's like, I don't understand. It's kind of weird. It's just like we say, like, brought to you by this, brought to you by that. Like, we associate having all these, like, nice features in our sports replays and everything with companies and their products.
I mean, they do.
Like, in a way, you kind of think, like, Monster's kind of supporting the UFC.
Oh, they are.
Yeah.
Like, especially...
Like, an energy drink is helping run one of my favorite, sports organizations.
Because Monster's a pretty big company.
Yeah.
Like, aren't they? Yeah.
Red Bull won the Formula One championship for, like, 5 years in a row a couple years ago. And they were, relatively new team. They're, they're a subsidiary of an energy drink.
I mean, it's simple. Think of it. Like... the car that can be put together with the best parts paid for by a huge sponsor is going to outperform a car put together with cheaper parts from a smaller sponsor.
Right. And then they get all the, the camera footage with their company's name and logo and everything in view. It's all beneficial to them.
Yeah, so I mean, I could totally see that.
So what else do you have on your mind? You said you were hearing some Grand Theft Auto video game update.
Yeah.
Grand Theft Auto 6 City rumors.
Yeah, because I'm not sure if we talked about it on the podcast. I know that you and I at least discussed that we were like, yeah, it should be in Detroit, or we would hope so. You can kind of go across the border to Canada. But from what I saw, it looks like Vice City. So they were saying, okay, you can go to Vice City, and it's got the working title, I guess, is like Grand Theft Auto Americas, something like that. So it's like you can go to Miami, Vice City, and then somewhere in South America.
Dude, oh my god, that'd be great.
So like Cuba, I'm guessing, but is Cuba considered South America?
No, not South America.
But that's why it's kind of
Central America.
I feel like that would make more sense.
Yeah. Well, I don't know. It's not really in Central America either, because it's within like almost view of Miami. It's kind of just in the Atlantic Ocean.
I've never actually had thought about that before. I'm sure there's probably someone thinking you're a fucking idiot. Just it's, of course it's South America or Central, whatever it is, but whatever.
Yeah, give us a break. We're not GOBs or whatever the fuck.
Yeah. But
I'd be totally cool with just Vice City, aka Miami. But it'd be really cool to be able to go down to some sort of any country like that, whether it be a Colombia knockoff, because it's going to be a made-up place. It doesn't even matter where we're talking
fictional
about.
place. Yeah, it doesn't fucking matter.
But anywhere tropical island base would be really cool. Drive around in the dirt roads, and there'd be a whole side story, I'm assuming, that involved going over there.
I would think that especially with the Miami drug trade shit, I feel like they could easily tie in some sort of
if they do a Scarface style story where you're flying back and forth with a helicopter and between Vice City and this hypothetical new city.
Did you ever play the old Scarface game back in the
day?
day?
Used to play it on the big green machine Xbox.
Oh my god, that was so fun. You could sell coke, you do all the fun shit.
You'd have your garage with all the cars in it. You could customize them. That game was awesome.
That was, I think I played that before I played my first real Grand Theft Auto game. So that gave me a taste to before a bigger grand scale game like that. But
the real OG one for me that I did play GTA Vice City soon after, or 3. I think it was Vice City, but Simpsons Hit and Run.
Oh, that was a classic.
Yeah, I love that game, man. It was great. Just the whole quirkiness of it, and the story was great. Just all the weird little missions you had to do, and finding the secret cars like the rocket ship car or the pink convertible, Lisa's car. That was great.
My parents, I asked my parents for the game because it was actually it came out right around my birthday. And I was like, "Hey, Mom, Dad, can you give me this game for my birthday?" They said, "Yeah." So I got the game, and to them, this is just a Simpsons game, whatever.
Oh,
I mean, Simpsons are kind of raunchy, whatever, but it's a Simpsons game. And then they saw me playing it one day, and I'm running over people and shit. And they're like, "What the fuck are you playing?" They're like, "What did we buy you?"
Well, they don't really get run over. They kind of roll. And...
But still, yeah. But I mean, they obviously they didn't care. But
yeah. My parents were just like, "Oh, here you go." They probably didn't think really much of it, and they probably didn't understand why I was so excited because it was I knew it was Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah.
So there's a cartoon, probably a puff of smoke. I ran so quick to the room, popped into the PlayStation 2 I had it for. That game was great.
Yeah, one of my favorite things I remember was, like you mentioned, collecting all the cars in the game. Didn't they have different stats too? Some were faster. Or, tougher.
That's what, the rocket car had no stars for durability because it was basically an actual rocket. So you hit a wall and just blow up into flames.
That's right.
Yeah.
Oh my god, the OG.
Yeah. Well, we're on the topic of Grand Theft Auto. One of the best intros to any video game up to this point in history is GTA 4, when it shows you coming over on the boat and then you get picked up by your cousin in the taxi, and then he lets you drive and you get the little driving tutorial.
That was my first grand like Grand Theft Auto, like grand scale Grand Theft Auto. The only ones I had played before were the like Vice City stories, and Liberty City stories on the PSP, the
Right.
portable game system. So it wasn't like like it was still Grand Theft Auto, but it wasn't as expansive, I would say, as a full Grand Theft Auto game. Let alone one of the next, at the time, next generation console.
Right.
So yeah, like you mentioned, that was I agree. Favorite, like at least Grand Theft Auto intro. I love that thing.
Especially now that I'm talking about it, I'm gonna have to go back and play that because I bought it for $5 on sale, like probably a year ago, and I haven't played it. I have it downloaded even. I'm gonna fire that up because I was pretty young when I played it. It was a long time ago, at least. I was like 13, 14 probably when it came out.
So tell me your opinion.
I don't know, it came out a long time ago, didn't it?
Yeah, because
Like-
it came out when like
2000.
like 8,
Yeah.
7, something like that.
I think
Because
eight.
I think I was like, because I remember playing it my freshman year of high school. Now, do you think that because
I got it when I was still riding a bike.
do you think that the story in Grand Theft Auto 4 or 5 was better? I personally like 4
for sure.
Yeah.
That's the thing I was gonna get at. It's just like the starting with nothing. The game gives you the best feeling at the beginning because you're in New York. You're on that street in your shitty apartment, and you don't even have a gun at first. It starts you just basically with free roam in that one.
Yeah.
Like you get dropped off, you get to sleep at your apartment. You wake up and it's like, okay, you can
Hey
do
cousin,
whatever.
let's go bowling.
Right, you can go bowling. You can try to just go like walk over and figure out what's around your guy's apartment. You can go try to steal a car. And GTA 5 was more like threw you right into an action movie. Like you get into a car
Yeah.
chase at the beginning with Franklin, then it switches you between all three characters to give you an intro. But like Trevor
like
was
that.
and Trevor was was like the most. I like Franklin, I guess, out of the bunch, being in the hood. He kind of had
Yeah.
like the come up story because then he ends up being in the mansions and shit at the end.
I feel like he like got into, because he was like
he was always chill too. for the
he was
most
like
part.
a more no nonsense, but he got into like the silliest shit,
Yeah, he would always be like, "Oh fuck!"
It's
And,
like, God damn it.
yeah, he was always getting
Who,
frustrated.
who was the dude at the beginning? Was it Larry or like
Trevor?
no his
Oh
his
yeah,
buddy, his friend that he was
yeah,
stealing the car
Larry
with.
the OG.
Yeah, Larry. God damn it, he was so fucking funny.
And then you go on that one mission with that one guy. Was it Larry, the one like younger sounding kid, like your friend from the neighborhood?
Yeah,
And then
yeah.
And then you get like you're with that van. You get ambushed because of some shitty drug deal, and like Franklin's all pissed off, and you have to like fight your way out of a warehouse.
He's like, I can't believe I'm in this. So
Yeah.
it's very funny.
There's good moments in that game,
Oh, yeah.
case in point right there. But overall, Grand Theft Auto 4 is the better overall story. It has that European like coming over from Romania.
I was devastated when my I forgot what the character's name is, but in the game, when like, spoiler alert, whatever, this game came out like fucking 20 years ago, the your like in-game character that you have to take on dates like turned out to be like an FBI agent or whatever.
Yeah, that blew my mind.
Oh, dude,
You're picking her up. I was like picking her up in like the Corvette and stuff, and I was like, this is like a nice like little romance in the story.
Hot
She fucks
coffee.
you over. Yeah, fuck that.
But yeah, I was out, man. That's
Do you want the
brought a lot of emotion, and that
Yeah.
was why it was so good. Because you're like, fuck, you felt bad for your in-game character, and you got thrown into a huge firefight, and it's shit like that made the game.
Right, like for example, in Grand Theft Auto 4, you start with no gun. I remember the first time I got it like 1 star for something silly, like I bumped a cop car, and they started like pulling their guns on me, but they weren't like shooting. They just trying to make you or get what's it called, busted.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't have any guns anyway, so I wasn't too scared of it.
Mm-hmm.
And I pulled a quick one. I remember the first time I was like playing through the game where I like ran up and just punched a cop, and I like
got
got
your
his
first
pistol.
weapon.
Yeah, it was like the pistol or whatever, or shotgun. I think it was just a pistol popped out,
Mm-hmm.
and I ran and like just got on a foot chase. I like jumped over the fence and eventually got away from the star, and then I kind of put away. I was like, I got a gat now. Like you just kind of, it was a good feeling starting from nothing. I like when games start you with nothing.
Because people
The build up.
I mean, that's just like the thing that humans just like. They like that story of someone who comes from nothing and becomes something great. It's just like a story that's been told 1,000 times,
That's why I always like the classic, more so like the first 1 through 6 Forza Motorsports. because you'd always start off with like the F class or like these slow.
You
little,
build
like,
your way up to the better tiers.
You're doing these little tiny like 0.8 maybe 1.1 mile like curvy loop courses on these little Chevy Aveo like slow ass cars, and then you work up and suddenly you're driving Camaros, Corvettes, and then eventually you get to like the full on race cars because then you let your skills build up. You know how to take the corners better.
I know that I never got as into like the Forza series like specifically, or the Turismo series. I thoroughly enjoyed them though. Only I feel like the main reason was because I've always been a huge fan of RPGs, and you get that same feeling when playing that because you start off with like not the best car, but you start to put on better parts.
Yeah, that's the part I left out. Good, thank you. Yeah, like the modding.
That was great.
Yes, because you have like your like 108 horsepower, like
put a better
Volkswagen.
engine in there, put a better transmission in there.
Right, you'd have like 5,000 credits. You get an intake, like cheap little street springs, suspension upgrade, and whatever else, like maybe brake pads. And then the next race, you just you have a little bit more braking, and it's so much more evident at the beginning because later on you just have so much money you throw on the best parts and everything.
Right, it loses its.
It does. It loses it. But when it's kind of like you're limited by budget more, like it would be in real life, and you pick out, I want the sway bar, I want the turbo upgrade,
and then you got to think, do I want anything cosmetic?
Yeah.
Like you got to balance it out. So, but
your idea, like, do I do it on them with the rims, but it costs 4,000 credits and would be out.
Yeah, it's like, should I invest more in performance but see,
I always did performance at the beginning for the most part. I would make like my own touch on it, but I would never spend a bunch on wheels for the most part. I would just like do like the black windows, tin them out, like do the paint job.
Was it the Need for Speed Underground series where you got like cred for how cool your car looked as well too?
Yeah,
see that was a really cool like gameplay
street
mechanic
cred.
Because
they called it bank too. That was your money. It was just bank.
It gave you like an incentive to make your car like look cool as well too.
Oh yeah.
So those aspects of racing games, being able to upgrade your car, new parts, cosmetics, I really have always thoroughly enjoyed that about racing games. But for some reason, like open world driving in like a racing game, that never got to me. Like, I don't care about that. Just that's why I liked the Forza series. Well, because I know they got like the Forza Horizons or whatever.
A new one's coming out. They're cooking it up.
But that's still Xbox exclusive though, right?
I will say Horizon and PC, but Horizon 3 is amazing because even if you don't like the open world driving thing, there's racing you can do on actual circuits within the world.
Mm-hmm.
And when you're actually racing traffic, it's supposed to be like a legal event in the game. Like this one's in the UK, so when there's an actual official event, there's street racing where there is traffic and you can hit them. But normally the races are with road shutdown, so there's barriers set up on the roads you're not supposed to turn onto,
right?
And there's no traffic. Cool. So it's really playable. It doesn't feel like you're always running into cars or trying to just drive around and look for stuff.
What would be really cool, we heard some rumors about like the Switch being, I guess the new one, having the ability to do with the Microsoft Game Pass. Yeah, the Game Pass. So that would be really cool if we were able to see the Forza games on the Switch. I would totally pay for that.
I'm about to get some water. Keep going.
Yeah, no, well, for sure, I would totally pay for that because I don't know about you, but I would 100% love to be able to play specifically the Forza series. I played the Gran Turismo series when I was younger, but I never got into it as much as I did. It's pretty much the same thing, isn't it? Just like a like Gran Turismo and Forza.
I've always been a Forza guy myself. I started off with Gran Turismo, but once I saw that, I was on PS2, and I saw that the Forza 2 or 3, whatever was out at the time, on Xbox had damage. That was a big factor for me. The damage and the customizing.
So
being able to swap on, the different wheels, paint job, bumpers, all the engine parts. There was none of that really in Gran Turismo. You could You could wash your car. You could upgrade a few parts, especially the newer ones. You can, but I still just don't like really the driving feel. I don't like the engine sounds. Like, excuse me, none of the engine sounds in Gran Turismo really sound that good to me.
See,
Forza always just sounds great for the most part.
I haven't played a Gran Turismo game since like the PS2 days, so that was eons ago. This may be a stupid question, but they're still coming out with Gran Turismo games, aren't they?
Yeah, and there's, like I said, there's a new Forza, a numbered one, a Motorsport coming out, not a Horizon. So Forza 8, I think should be out within a year and a half at the latest. I think they're working on this one more as an open project, which is interesting. They're having like open Q&A sessions where people who actually played the game the most, all these people on the message boards, can actually chip in and give feedback every week as they're developing the game. So I'm hoping this one's going to be really good, because there's not going to be something where, at least if it goes as planned, where everyone's like, what the hell, what is this shit? Because they're going to be kind of in tune the whole development process. So if it's just shit and they're not listening to any advice, you'll kind of see it coming.
Yeah, it's like it'll be obvious if they don't listen to any like feedback.
Yeah, I like Horizon though. I got to re-download it. It kept crashing on the computer, unfortunately, but I think because I had it on a screwed up hard drive. It's fun though.
Yeah, I'm 100% going to end up getting the Switch when the new Pokemon game comes. Well, I'm hoping that the new Pokemon game comes out with the launch of this new Switch Pro. I guess it's coming out. That's going to be cool. It'll be like I'm a kid again. I used to love the Pokemon games.
Yeah, games are so addicting, damn it.
Yeah.
I love them, but they can definitely suck your time away. You just got to be careful with them. Budget it. Mentally.
I mean, just like with anything in life, I mean, you have to know your limits, because you could sit and eat cheeseburgers all day and that's not good for you. You can sit and play video games all day. That's probably not good for you. But shit, people make a living off of it now. So who's to say? I mean, that's not bad.
Right. I'm realistic though. Like, I don't want to make a living off of it.
No.
If I was, it'd be making them, not streaming or playing them all day. Like, I don't want to be forced to play games for 10 hours a day to survive for my paycheck.
When I was a kid,
it sounded great. That was like the dream job.
Yeah, when I was a kid, that probably would have sounded very enticing. Because,
isn't it funny? Like, that's why I'm so glad you're not forced to like stay in one career you choose at a certain
you
age.
can do what the fuck you want.
Yeah, because things change. But when you're 13, sitting inside for 10 hours a day gaming might sound fantastic. But, by the time you're 24, that might sound like hell. You're like, I don't want to do that every single day.
No,
Which I don't.
You have to do that consistently, too, because with the amount of other people, like, unless you're like a huge name that if you take like a couple weeks off, it won't like affect you too much. But if you're just trying to like start and get out there, I feel like you have to consistently just stream. And if you're just starting
Streaming's
out,
tough.
And if you're just starting out, you're obviously not going to be making a lot of money. Like, I've seen like people talk about it on Reddit before, like in the relationship advice shit. It's like, my boyfriend wants to be a streamer, but he's not making any money, and I'm paying all the bills, and
Yeah. Things just sitting there playing video games all day.
So that's scary to me.
Yeah, because, I mean, we do the podcast for fun. We don't rely on this for anything.
No.
There's no money coming in.
It's cool if people listen, 100%.
Yeah, that's all it's about. But, if it's your livelihood, and like you said, I've heard from, some streamers on Twitter have posted that they can't really take more than, even one day off. Like, once you take a few days off, you disappear. It's just so competitive. There's so many people doing it.
But then again, that's the perfect career for some people, because
think of there's the person, I'll say, just anyone who tunes in every day to some channel, and then they're off for 3 days, so they start watching some other channel they get looped into. They just don't go back to the other one. Everything shifts.
It's like
the podcast moves a lot slower. Most podcasts are once a week, sometimes twice a week, but usually even less than that.
Oh yeah.
Sometimes once a month, every once in a while.
Because there's
streaming's constant though.
Yeah, because in podcasts you have a lot of variety of how people do their own podcast, the consistency of how much they put out. But with streaming, I feel like that's pretty much like, hey, you stream this popular video game every day until the next new popular game comes out, and then you stream that. You know what I mean?
Right, there's so many ways to do it. You could have some sort of investigative podcast where every season, quote unquote, you spent 10 1-hour episodes, like going on a deep dive into some subject.
Right.
And then you could, record those over a long time, but then have them posted that season just every week on schedule, like preset. You don't always have to do it like we do, like obviously record and then post it a few days later.
But with streaming, I feel like it's a lot
Next
more
day,
like
actually.
rigid in your how do I say this, like way that you can really put out your content. It's like you just have to just stream all the time.
Oh yeah. I mean, there's some podcasts like Rogan obviously has the live cast and the church, but those aren't very rigid anyways. They're just talking, it's not necessarily, I don't know. It's just different to be like a game streamer because like they need to like be on the ball doing something. Like podcasts, you can kind of just sit back and talk. It seems way easier to me to be on a live podcast than having to like keep an audience for say 6 hours streaming like Overwatch. Like, 'cause, you get lazy when you're gaming, you lean back.
I get quiet.
Yeah, I get quiet.
Yeah. I just shut the fuck up and I just get into it.
Yeah, I noticed that you'll get really quiet. Sometimes I'll yell shit.
Yeah, because it's I'm putting that's why I could never be like a game streamer.
Yeah.
Because
I'll just be the angry streamer. Because like when I do say stuff, I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" I'm like, "He had 2 health." I'll just yell shit like that, which I'm sure some people are into. But like, I'm not actually saying like gripping commentary. It's usually just me being pissed off, like the goalie didn't even lean into the shot.
it's it's like the same type of skill that a sports commentator has. Because like when I watch like a UFC event, if I'm really focused on the fight, like I get pretty quiet, just like how I play a video game.
Yeah.
So when you see like, let's say like Joe Rogan, he's commenting on a UFC fight, he's super into it, but he's still talking about everything that's going on too. So like that's just a skill I don't have. I can't like consume all that content or produce that content while also like commenting on it at the same time. It's hard.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's not necessarily a requirement, but yeah, like if I'm on a breakaway playing NHL on PlayStation 19, I can't be like, I'm breaking up the left side, I'm deking, I'm
so
like,
focused.
Yeah, like my mouth's basically hanging open because I'm like so focused on like that flow right there, that flow state of just concentration.
All right, I'm already like not fucking good. So
Yeah.
when I'm in that state, I have to put all the focus on just scoring.
We were talking about this before, but isn't it funny kind of becoming the, like, I don't want to say old man, just like the 20s, 30-year-old like working man gamer we'd like think about when we were kids. Like we were like 10, we'd say like, I wonder how it feels to just go grab a game after work, like under your own control.
Yeah,
and just be able to play it because we thought we'd be playing way more.
Did your parents ever put any sort of like limits on your like video game uses?
Yeah. It was a constant battle between. Honestly, if you want to know a funny story, this one time, I was just pissed off. I got home from school and all I wanted to do was play Halo, and that's when I was deep into Halo 3. I think that was a problem. I told you I put over 2,000 hours just in multiplayer without even the campaign. And
I could see it.
Took away my PlayStation. Maybe my dad was in on it too. It was my Xbox 360, and everything else in my room was there, untouched, but just the system was missing.
Oh,
and my brain
God.
couldn't comprehend it. I was like, where is it? And I'm like looking around my shelves. I'm like, where is it? And I went and asked my mom, and she was acting like she didn't touch it, and I was going insane. I'm like, where is it?
Yeah, because like to a kid, that's
I'm
like your livelihood.
I'm gonna start breaking shit. I'm gonna break shit. I'm gonna throw glasses, something.
I'm gonna explode.
Yeah, start steaming out the ears or something.
God, I'll never forget when I got the PSP, the portable PlayStation.
The pretty small penis.
Of course. Yeah, I was like, what, 10 years old? But when I got that, I for some reason I still don't understand it. Like today, I maybe my family just didn't understand the concept of a mobile video game. But for some reason, when I first got it, they would not let me like take it away from like my grandparents' house. I would have to keep it like there. I couldn't take it home with me. I couldn't take it to school. They were like, it has to stay at your grandparents' house. I don't know if that was because they were afraid that I would just not want to just stop playing it at all ever.
It was valuable, and we were kids. You
Yeah.
probably break it, which you did. You broke it in your backpack.
So, oh my God, that's right. I
Yeah.
did.
I don't forget this.
Oh my
type of
God,
thing.
that was a devastating day. I would use that shit every morning
I
before
remember
fucking school.
you were like, I have horrible news or something. I'm like AOL Instant Messenger. I'm like, what happened, dude? I thought some like medical thing occurred, and you're just like, my PlayStation was in my backpack at school, and I pulled it out and it was cracked.
I remember every single pixel on the screen was dead. I remember I turned it on, and you know how it had like the little fucking green light that showed it's
Yeah.
on. That came on, and I'm waiting for the fucking screen to boot, and I'm like, okay,
Yeah.
I'm checking the disc to make sure it's working, but yeah, every single fucking pixel was dead. Dude, that broke my fucking like 14-year-old heart.
Oh, that reminds me when this had no internet connectivity. I'll say this up front, but I had a Palm Trio at the young age of like, I would say 13, 14.
Mm-hmm.
After one of my first flip phone, because it was a hand-me-down. It was like my dad's old work phone they never took back.
Yep.
So I was using it for a while just as like a calling phone, but I would play like there's games on it. Like I
Yeah.
had some like stick figure adventure game I used to play at night. It was badass because that was like before the PSP or anything too.
Mm-hmm.
And one day at school, I was in the bathroom and we're just fucking around like throwing paper towel balls or something at the mirror. Hilarious, by the way. I don't know the physics behind that, but you know those like real shitty like dark brown paper towels you get in like elementary school.
Oh
and
yeah,
stuff?
the ones that come in the fucking roller.
Oh yeah. If you get those wet and crumpled up into a ball and you throw it at the wall, it just perfectly sticks wherever it hits.
Oh yeah, that was so fun.
Yeah. So they're all over the mirror. We're just messing around there, and I kind of like bumped into someone, and like my like hip leg area bumped into the side of the sink, and didn't think twice about it. Headed to the lunchroom because it was like right before lunch. I'm sitting there eating, and I pull it out of my pocket, and the screen's orange and purple and green with cracks all through it. I like sat there and just like looked at it and just put it back away and just tried not to think about it for the rest of the day because I was like, how am I going to tell my parents? And remember, reality was like an old phone that no one was even using. They're like, no one probably gave a shit.
Yeah, they probably didn't give two shits, but
I used to worry about everything more than I should have. I feel like I'm better at being like, okay, that's not a big deal, just who cares. But when I was a kid, I would like worry about everything. Like,
oh yeah,
instead of just being like, my glasses broke or this happened, I would just be scared to say anything happened. I don't know what I was always afraid of. Teachers too. It wasn't like my parents did anything.
As you get older, you kind of realize, life's too short to worry about every single small thing like that.
Oh yeah.
Like, and plus, like, a lot of that stuff is just young, like, not confident in yourself, because I never was as a kid. But as you get older and more, like, confident in yourself, you really don't give a shit about, like, smaller appearance things, like, let's say I go to the grocery store with fucking pajamas on. Well, I don't do that, but you know what I mean? Just, like, you didn't brush your hair or some shit like that. Like, who cares?
Right, like, unless someone tries to physically assault me, too, I'm pretty good at keeping my own mental state controlled just by myself. So if I'm having a bad day, everyone has a bad day, I might just keep my head down and deal with it.
The key is not letting other people affect your mood.
Right, that's what I'm about to say. So if someone were to like say just like, you got ugly shoes at the grocery store, I would just be like, okay, and just keep walking. Like, I wouldn't even think about it because I don't really care what people think of things like that. If they're like, I don't like the way your hoodie matches with your pants. I honestly, I always like look at myself like, oh shit, I didn't even notice. Like I don't know, I don't think about those things.
I used to be really paranoid about making sure that I didn't like wear the same thing to work like a couple days after each other or something like that.
Me too.
I used to be really paranoid about that, and then I thought about it. I was like, look, if my coworkers notice enough that I do that, then I'm more concerned that they're putting that much energy into what I'm fucking wearing every day versus their own life. You know what I mean? I
have been occasionally like called out on that, not in a bad way, but like, didn't you just wear that shirt like 2 days ago? And I'm
who cares?
I always just say either like, yes, I did,
it's clean,
or just oh, I didn't know you paid attention to what I wore.
Yeah,
and then they're kind of put on the spot.
Yeah, because I wash the shit after I wear it. You know what I mean?
Well, plus
So-
I'm a realist. If it's a t-shirt, wash it after one use, or socks.
Pants,
underwear,
like,
same thing.
yeah,
but like
jeans,
a hoodie, you
pants.
get 2-3 wears out of it, unless you
Yeah.
get food on it really bad. And things like jeans, you have multiple uses, or especially like a flannel, and you're wearing it where you're not really sweating, like outside, just at the office. You can wear a flannel like 4 times, 3 times.
Yeah, oh yeah, because you
Unless
can
you're
save
sweating
you
a
can
ton.
save honestly so much water by just not washing certain clothes every single time that you wear them.
Yeah, a lot
You
of
know.
people don't wash their clothes enough, but inversely, some people wash their clothes too much.
And you can always tell because there's shit like the colors go like, and plus
It's all faded out,
And-
or it's just old.
yeah no go
I have some faded clothes for
oh
sure.
yeah I've got a shit ton of faded clothes, dude. I'm the worst with buying new clothes. I'll wear shit until like I can't cover it up anymore. You know what I mean? It's like when for example, like if I have like a black just like shirt that I like, you know, maybe has like a insignia or something on it, who knows. I'll wear that enough to where it's like, wow, the color's fading. I may got like deodorant stains on it. Now that's an undershirt.
Yep, yeah, or
Yep.
it's a gym shirt.
Yep. So and then that it goes through that life cycle. So that
Yeah.
means I got a lot of clothes that like I could probably
same
throw
here.
away.
I have a process. Some of it's just internal, like when I decide to move a T-shirt into a certain ranking of going out shirt versus a chilling with you shirt
Yep.
versus like gym or working on a project shirt.
It goes through the life cycle.
Yeah, this sounds like I'm some sort of extreme minimalist, which I'm not. I mean, just look around my
Oh,
apartment.
which wouldn't be a bad thing. Whatever.
Right. You know, I'm just saying because it sounds like I'm a psychopath. I have like probably I say 12 pairs of pants, just so I don't have to wash them very
Damn.
often, and they're all either some shade of gray, black. One of them is blue, and one of them is like a khaki color. But they're all from Costco, and they're all the same brand. They're all the same size,
Hey, no, look.
and I have about 12 to 15 black, either plain or V-neck T-shirts.
No, because
All from the
honestly,
same
just keep it
brand.
simple.
Yeah, I wear the same stuff so much, like you were saying, of being afraid to wear, like, you know, the same thing. I look at it now as like my uniform almost. Like I have a look. I'm always wearing all black almost, or gray.
looking back on it, like at back in elementary school when we had to wear like uniforms, because I went to, I know that you left for like public school after a while, but I was in Catholic school until I went to high school, and I had a uniform, just like you remember having a uniform, that you had to wear the same thing like every day. And
Yeah.
looking back on it, I fucking hated it. I was like, wow, I want to just wear comfortable clothes, whatever I want to wear. But now that I think about it, like, shit, that made things so much easier not to think. I didn't have to think about it. I knew, okay, I gotta wear this.
Yeah.
You know. So, but it's one of those things, like when you're told what to wear, like if that was just a thing that everyone in the school did, like everyone just wore the same shit and didn't say anything and just
Yep.
accepted it, like I feel like that would be like heaven,
Yeah, but that
or
never
a weird like
happens.
dystopia. I don't know.
Yeah, probably a dystopia.
Yeah, they could go either way.
But yeah, there's 2 factors in it for me that really make me buy so much of the same brand and size. Is that I don't know about you, but if I'm wearing clothes I don't fit me perfectly, like I'm, you know, my shirt's riding up every time I like lean over to start typing, you know, or like my pants are like super loose, etc. I can't really like get comfortable with myself fully when I'm out or even at work. Like if I'm walking around, my pants keep sagging down. So once I find something that like suits me well, I'll get a couple different shades and just buy up, start ringing it up, you know, like, and when, you know, the time comes where they're worn out, I just get more of them. Like I just got more of these black shirts.
You
I need more black hoodies, maybe a few gray hoodies to mix it up, maybe a blue hoodie.
You reminded me of the days when I used to wear like oversized saggy pants. I thought that was the shit.
Oh yeah, everyone's
my
walking
God.
around with these big ass like Jinko style looking pants.
Like
I never really wore like the true Jinko jeans with all the millions of chains, but just like the baggy ass, like what were some of those brands? Like Fubu.
wasn't it like the like punk kids or like the goth kids at the time who wore those like big pants with the chains?
Hot Topic kids.
Yeah, the Hot Topic kids.
I like how there was a class of kids were just.
But you know
putting by
like
store.
exactly what we're talking about
Yeah,
when
like
you
the
would,
goth
yeah.
kids, the emo kids.
I wonder, but that's one. I mean, look, like fashion is all relative, and people just like weird shit, whatever they like. But I never understood that one. It just seemed just like a lot to carry around. You smack it into shit. I feel like if you had a cat, that'd be horrible. I couldn't imagine walking around my fucking apartment wearing those. My cat would just like attach to me. He wouldn't leave me alone.
It just hangs off you all day.
Shit, I mean, it's like just a big cat toy.
Yeah. But getting back to the clothes thing, so besides the, just the convenience of it, of like knowing what you're going to wear is going to fit well, it's also just a time saver. Because I don't know about you, with getting ready in the past, I used to have those moments where I grab like a random red t-shirt or something and put it all together. I'm sitting there in the mirror like, I don't like the way this looks,
dude.
So it's like now I basically wear the black plain t-shirts. I don't really wear logos because maybe I'm not feeling that logo that day for some reason, so I don't want to wear that t-shirt.
That's a bad loop that people don't even think about.
Yeah, because they're like, oh, I only have shirts that have like motorcycles on them.
When you sit there like and just judge about how like is this outfit right? Does this look good? Honestly, look, especially the person that's thinking about that, just like doing a presentation in school. It's like most people are so focused on themselves anyway. They don't give a fuck about what you look like. You know what I mean? As long as you don't walk into like, let's say like a black tie event and a fucking like poncho,
right,
like
right.
People aren't gonna pay attention nor give a shit. And the people who do, like, they're far and few and they got their own fucking weird issues anyways. You know what I mean?
Yeah. That's the thing is, like, as a kid, like a lot of kids go through this too. Mm-hmm. You care about having that brand everyone's wearing.
Oh yeah.
And you feel like left out if your parents don't want to buy it or think it's stupid or too much money, can't afford it. Because
as an adult you realize, that's silly.
Yeah,
like, you don't
like,
need that.
Yeah, you don't need that.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I think I appreciate a cool T-shirt, a cool design, but when it comes to logos, I'm really put off because I think it's just like putting a stamp on I'm this type of person, in a way. Mm-hmm. Like when you see it on someone, like I try not to judge someone by whatever clothes they're wearing, but like if someone has like a huge like crazy Affliction logo T-shirt, like you might think he's a bit of a douchebag before you talk to him.
Some people like have a lot of brand loyalty, like, and a lot of brands are just associated with shit. So
yeah,
like you said, like the Affliction shirts, like for a while that was associated with like MMA, like cage, like bro, So,
right, like imagine that guy, and then versus seeing that same hypothetical guy in like a Starbucks wearing just a plain white T-shirt or black T-shirt.
It's crazy because it sucks to think, but your mind like will automatically just assume like when he's wearing the Affliction shirt, let's say at a Buffalo Wild Wings or something, and it's like, okay, this dude might be willing to get into a bar fight.
Right. You might think this guy likes fighting. He might be willing to scrap. But if you just see him like in a plain T-shirt, you might think this guy might be like mountain biking.
Yeah.
No clue. It's just some guy. So it can give you some classification. Like that's why people wear like snowboarding or skateboarding shit to like show they're into that stuff.
Yeah, so it'd be a very weird like dystopia. Yeah. If like let's say everyone and just let's say Farmington Hills and Detroit and like Westland, all these places like we're just gonna start wearing the same stuff.
Yeah, it's called a cult.
Yeah, exactly. Wow, yeah, it really is. Yeah.
Like in the Rajneesh when everyone was wearing, was it purple?
It was like that burgundy, purplish. Like,
yeah.
But that must have made things like easy for them. It's like, well, I know that I'm just gonna wear this today.
Yeah, and the funny thing is they made their own fashion within it. They would have different clothes.
They have stores.
Right, they would have different varieties of clothes all in the same color. But, it still allowed you to have a bit of a personal spin to it. But it does make it easy. You don't have to worry about, like, will someone think I'm X type of person because I'm wearing yellow or a pink shirt. But everyone's just wearing the same shit.
But that's the crazy thing about people is you can't really put every single person into one bucket because some people really prefer, like, the structure. Like, it's the same people who, like, they like being in jail because it's... Well, that's very 0.001%, but there's still those people who would rather just stay in that structured lifestyle, wear the same stuff, like let's say in a cult. wear the same stuff, do the same shit, and just have everything planned out for them.
I'm sure a lot of like ex-cons live like that too. Like they probably just have a couple.
Or in the military,
outfits.
like it's the same, like waking up at the same day.
Simplicity. You can just get up.
Versus having all of these other options, which it's honestly, especially like take someone who's like, let's say, been in a cult for like 20 years and done the same thing every day, or like been in prison for like 20 years on the same thing every day, and you take them and try to just give them all this freedom again and give them, and okay, just have that in society. Like that could be overwhelming.
Yeah,
like
because it's discipline, but it's not necessarily training you for anything else.
Yeah, it's because like
it's keeping you in line. That's why jail and prison are similar.
Or
you
like
know, patterns of getting up, making your bed right away, all that stuff.
People who leave like heavy Amish cultures, like that would be overwhelming as well too. It's the same situation.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. It's like you're living like this life that's just not consistent with what everyday life is like for most people. So when you try to go back, so when you go into that, you know, like new realm, you can get overwhelmed and thrown the fuck off.
Yeah. Shout out to the Amish.
Yeah.
Shout out
to
their
cool beards.
Yeah. Shout out to the people stuck in jail for bullshit things.
Yeah.
And
like all the weed that the DEA is burning.
Yeah. People who are in jail for weed right now, shout out to you guys and gals. I'm sure there's someone out there not listening, most likely.
Oh,
but
yeah. Who knows?
There's definitely people out there who are in jail for life on weed.
Maybe all of our listeners are just prison inmates. We're just circulating the prison rounds right now.
It's possible.
That'd be cool.
Yeah, cool, man. Anything else?
No, that was fun. It was fun.
Yeah, that was good. We got into some random nonsense today. I liked it.
Me too.
Peace out, everyone.
Have a good weekend.
Episode 55 next week.
Peace.